As the Paris Games is drawing to a close, Hong Kong Olympians have clinched a total of 4 medals. Speaking to TVB News, Edgar Yang, Honorary Secretary General of the Sports Federation and Olympic Committee, said the city would work to maintain that stature while overcoming recent concerns on routes between different sports clubs and associations. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, Hong Kong bagged 2 gold medals. Edgar Yang, Honorary Secretary General of the Sports Federation and Olympic Committee, said these feats have shown how Hong Kong is capable of producing world-class athletes. But how is the city strategizing to keep the winning momentum going? We have great success from the latest Paris Games. Any blueprint that's mapped out to groom future Olympians?
I think that the government policy as well as the training program conducted by Hong Kong Sport Institute makes it very clear that to popularize the sport, and that before it comes to the professional training, then to the elite-driven training, all this has been put into the right place.
Earlier, former Olympian Alex Fong and lawmaker Adrian Ho flagged concerns over a talented 9-year-old who was barred from joining championships because the club he belongs to was a competition member, the lowest of 3-member rankings locally. The Hong Kong-China Swimming Association later said it will open all tournaments to swimmers who meet relevant competition thresholds to encourage more clubs to nurture talent. That's regardless of the class of the swimming clubs. What about the red tapes? How can we give Hong Kong athletic talent more chances to compete in the Olympic Games without being hampered by any club membership issues or federation issues?
National sports associations, we are going to have a very in-depth briefing with them, particularly on to how that we can groom the next generation through our proper selections.
Our struggle within the clubs, certain clubs, how can we prevent that from arising in future?
Now, the system will help. Once we put the proper governance system into it, and every elected officers or the president or secretary, the management part, I'm sure they're going to listen and follow, particularly to make the things right. Addressing concerns about the imbalanced dedication of resources, Yang said relevant authorities will direct funds to not just spotlight a sports like fencing, but also non-Olympic sports such as wushu. Families of the victims of a Vopass airliner that crashed in Brazil on Friday have gathered at mortuaries and hotels in Sao Paulo as officials attempt to identify the 62 people killed in the accident. The 2 black boxes of Flight 2283 have been recovered. Nasri Karim has more.
The 2 black boxes, cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder for Vopass Flight 2283, were recovered from the wreckage after Friday's crash. Investigators are trying to explain why the ATR-72 twin-engine turboprop plane plummeted out of the sky in a spiral before crashing into a gated community about 78 kilometers from its destination, Sao Paulo. The bodies of all 62 people on board have been recovered, 34 males and 28 females, which included 4 crew members. There's speculation that a buildup of ice on the wings could have caused the plane to stall and spiral in the way it did. Though ice was forecast, a Vopass official says it was within acceptable levels for the aircraft. Relatives of victims have been flown in to help identify bodies. They were asked to bring medical and dental records, x-rays and other items to help in the identification process. Reports say 8 physicians were on board, as well as 4 professors from the UniEst University in Paraná State. A 3-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy were also said to be on board. The body of a dog belonging to the boy and his family was recovered. Rescuers were still going through the crash site looking for anything that could shed light on the tragedy. Video footage showed the plane falling in a flat spiral before it crashing into a residential area. No one on the ground was injured. This witness said she thought it was going to fall into her yard. This man said it looked like the plane had run out of gas. He ran out of his house and he said he saw the aircraft fall onto the roof of a house. It was the worst air tragedy since January 2023, when the Yeti Airlines crashed in Nepal, killing 72. That was also an ATR-72, built by a France-Italy joint venture. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
Bangladesh's Chief Justice Obaidu Hassan resigned following new protests by students. 5 other top judges in the Supreme Court are expected to step aside as the new interim government attempts to reorganize the judiciary after an uprising ousted the former prime minister. Students and other groups involved in the previous protests that ended Sheikh Hasina's 15 years in power thronged the area of the High Court and Supreme Court, demanding high-profile resignations. They say the judiciary must not be influenced by politicians or corruption. Hasina fled to India on Monday as her government crumbled. Nobel Peace Laureate Muhammad Yunus has been sworn in as chief advisor of the interim government. Welcome back. The Justice Secretary for the UK says riots that have taken place there in recent days will be felt for years to come. Shabana Mahmood told a newspaper that having to focus on punishing violent offenders will slow planned reform of the justice system. Court operations have been extended to deal with suspected violent far-right demonstrators who face up to 10 years behind bars. Several marches have taken place over the weekend against such racism. David Garrett reports.
The United Kingdom divided in recent days. This was a call for unity. After several recent incidents of violent demonstrations against immigration fuelled by far-right activists, these people in London marched against that behaviour. Drone shots showed thousands gathering. There were more than 20 other rallies nationwide. The numbers joining the marching appeared to grow through the day.
It seems like Wednesday night and tonight, people have come out and said we're not going to be divided by the far right. We're not going to let them roam the streets, beating up Muslims, attacking mosques, targeting refugees. We think on Wednesday night, 25,000 people marched across the country. Today we're hearing similar reports, Sheffield, Liverpool, Wakefield, all across the country. Here in London, we're at Reform UK's headquarters because we think Nigel Farage is fanning the flames that are giving the far right confidence.
As the march moved towards the Houses of Parliament, it has emerged Prime Minister Keir Starmer has cancelled his summer holiday amid concerns of continued simmering tensions in England and Northern Ireland. With riots and looting widespread through most of the last week, some countries have warned their citizens against visiting the UK. Starmer described these violent demonstrators, filmed earlier this week, as far-right thugs. Court's hours and powers have been extended to deal with suspects. Nearly 800 have been arrested, with more than 300 charged. The violence began after a knife attack killed 3 girls at a Southport dance school in northwest England. Initially, some thought the attack was carried out by a Muslim asylum seeker. These false rumours aggravated an already tense situation over immigration. A 17-year-old suspect, born in Wales, was charged with murder and attempted murder. David Garrett, TVB News.
Olympic fencing gold medalist Vivian Kong said today she hopes to use the power of sports to unite people. Kong made the remark at the airport before she left for Hangzhou for the government's Strive and Rise program. She is now an assistant external affairs manager at the Hong Kong Jockey Club, a sponsor of the program. The Musang reports.
This group of students ready to travel to Hangzhou for a 5-day trip under the government's Strive and Rise program, a mentorship project to help underprivileged young people broaden their horizons, increase their self-confidence. Olympic fencing gold medalist Vivian Kong is also on the trip. Kong, however, joined the group with a new title, Assistant External Affairs Manager of Jockey Club. The former fencer said she will continue to unite people by the power of sports.
I think as an athlete, I worked really hard to train and to make Hong Kong people proud, to win results, and to unite everyone so that we can all enjoy sports. And now that I can, lucky enough to join the Jockey Club, I wish I can use the same, use my platform and use the power of sports to unite everyone and hopefully just make sure that we all love sports and be happier.
In response to criticisms over her academic paper, Kong said it was just a piece of thesis and she had an advisor. Meanwhile, Raymond Tan, the Jockey Club's executive director of corporate affairs, said the organization welcomes all talents and do not focus on individuals' political belief.
No matter what the personal belief or personal incarnation would be like, we would welcome those talents to join us as well. A thesis for the purpose of graduating from a master's degree would remain as a thesis, no more or no less than that.
Tam said Kong will have a lot to do in her new position, including working with the political sector to promote social services in the city. News 9, TVB News.
Two organizations found out in a survey that more than 85% of those living in subdivided flats in industrial buildings have suffered from heat stroke. Kwaichung SDU, Kwai Fong Association and Carbon Care InnoLab interviewed 30 subdivided households in July to find out more about their living conditions under the hot weather. The results show that 85.7% of the respondents have suffered from heat stroke. The organizations asked interviewees to record the temperature in their units. It turned out that the temperature these residents feel like to the human body was some 6 degrees higher than the actual indoor temperature. One of the survey organizers hopes the government can provide a regular electricity subsidy for these residents. It's the last day that free entry zones featuring popular Japanese cartoon character Doraemon are open to the public at the Chimsha-choi waterfront. Organizers said the event attracted around 5 million visitors over the past month. Fans flocked to Chimsha-choi to catch the last glimpse of the robotic cat. Many tried to capture the moments in pictures. Some said they hope the organizer can hold the exhibition again. On this last day of the free outdoor exhibition, there were also 4 meet and greet sessions where Doraemon and 4 other popular characters in the series came out to meet their visitors. The representative of the shopping mall right next door also said visitor numbers surged 40%, with sales having risen 30% thanks to the exhibition. The paid exhibition zone located in that mall is set to close next Sunday on August 18th. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.